Carrie. Nice to meet you. I'm a pelvic physiotherapist. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions first, then we'll take a look at things, and then at the end I'll talk to you about what I found.
Okay.
So what brought you in to have a pelvic assessment?
Well, I've had 2 children, and I have never had a pelvic floor assessment before, so I just want to know what is happening internally, just for self-knowledge.
Okay. So you're not having any pain or problems that you know of at this point?
No.
Tell me about your kids. How old are they? Start with number 1.
Number 1 is 7.
And how was your pregnancy?
It was fine. Yeah, everything was good.
How was your labor?
It was good. I mean, I had an epidural. It was 23 hours long.
I've been doing it for 20 years, and I always say to people, there's not much that can embarrass me except for my husband. So feel free to ask me lots of questions, and never feel like you can't ask me something, because this is usually the place people ask it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the room. I'm going to lay out some sheets for you. You're just going to take your underwear and pants off. You're going to lay with your head at that end. You're going to have your knees bent, and there's going to be a sheet to cover you. And then I'm going to come into the room. I'm going to be on your side. I'm going to be feeling the tummy, because I really check out what's going on with the organs and what's going on with all the tissues involved in that area, including your diaphragm. Then I'm going to go to the end of the bed where I'll take 1 or 2 gloved fingers, insert them into the vagina. I'm going to look on the outside first, then I'll look on the inside and feel. And at that point, I'll be putting some pressure. I'll get you to cough. I'll get you to do some contraction. I'm going to be poking a little bit just to feel again what's going on down there. And then I'll exit, leave, and you'll change. I'll come back in and talk about what we found. Are you okay with all that? Any questions so far?
No.
No? Okay. So just give me a second. I'll grab some sheets for you. Okay, so I'm just going to smooth this down. Okay, if I lift your shirt? Yep. Okay, and I'm going to be just poking around a little bit.
Shaking my hands.
You're good where they are. Just lift your head up off the bed for me and back down. And keep doing that for me. And back down. Keep going. Back down. Keep going. Good. Has anybody told you that you have a diastasis?
No.
Have you been assessed?
I've never been assessed.
So you do have one. Now you do have good connectivity, right? Like the good contraction that you need to see. You do have some restriction over here on the right. And so that's decreasing some of that closure from happening as well. You won't ever fix that anymore, but you've already done a good job laying some good foundation of that core. And that's what's really, really key when it comes down to it. So again, just something to be aware of. And if you had like an excessive weight gain or got pregnant again, something to definitely try to be as proactive as possible around it. Okay, so I want you to cough for me. Good. And now I want you to Kegel for me. Good. And relax. That's great. You did a great Kegel.
I know, I did it with the breath too.
I know, I thought. Okay, so now I'm going to be putting a little deeper pressure if you're okay with that. Just turning my finger can be uncomfortable. And then I'm going to be reaching a little bit higher up to the bladder. I just want to see where it's situated.
Okay. See, I find this extremely interesting, like how you can like
feel all that, right?
Yeah.
The only difference is that I'm feeling and I'm not using my eyes, right? When I'm a physio on the outside, I'm using my eyes and I'm feeling. Right? So I don't use my eyes as much when it comes to, not that you don't use your eyes for some of what's going on, but. Okay, so I do want to check a couple more things out with you. So I'm going to just go underneath the sheet here and slide my hands underneath you and just lift up your bottom for me. Bottom. And a bridge, and then come back down onto my hands. Good. So this is where I'm looking at more just what's left of your birthing posture. Is there anything going on with your sacrum? Just how everything is just situated there. Okay, so I'm going to leave the room. You can change, and then I'll come back in and talk about what I found. So you do have a grade 1 prolapse of the bladder, but it's like a 1-. Like it's a wiggle. A bladder
Okay.
wiggle is how I call it. So it does kind of descend, but teeny about. It's just like normally it's kind of like this beautiful facelift of the bladder. Yours is kind of just a little sluggish. So it kind of goes when you start. Okay. And so
Is that when when I cough?
when you cough, or if you were to, be doing jumping jacks or different activities, you're going to have a little bit of eating. So what I say is the pelvic floor, and working on the pelvic floor like you are already, you're doing a great Kegel, and working on all those exercises that you've learned and you teach clients that I know, that's all stuff that's going to keep that longevity there. So that a grade 1 can stay a grade 1 for the rest of your life.
Oh, okay.
You can still make a grade 1 and nothing with putting some real effort and energy into it. And anything that gets further than a 2 to a 3, it gets past 2, like into a 3 or 4, they're really hard to make change with. You can make some change, but you can't really, and you can prevent it going further, but you really can't make it go away. Right. You're still in the avenue of being able to make it away. Okay. Now you didn't feel anything. You didn't know that that was happening, right? No. And that's what happens for women. And it's not till all of a sudden in the intercourse and their husband's like, there's something looking at me, or you feel that pressure so much that it's starting to bring you in. Like you go see the doctor. I feel something heavy down there. When I've been walking for a long period of time, I feel like there's something there. That's when people start to actually feel it, is when they actually seek care for it. Right. So catching it this early is where you want to catch it, because you can totally change that. Okay. So doing a little bit more specifics around Kegels is going to be important for you. Okay. And then just being careful of, keeping your bowels healthy, which there was every evidence that you have been, and keeping the pelvic area really healthy as well. Okay. So for Kegels, I would say the pelvic floor has to be ready for a decathlon, right? It's built to be many things. So it's not just train it one way, it's train it in a whole bunch of different ways, from being endurance and holding those muscles to get to the end of the mall to where the bathroom is, to all of a sudden you cough, sneeze, and you need a little bit of quick control that way. So you have to train your pelvic floor in the same way. So I'm going to write down a couple exercises. Okay.